Yes, 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 sure. All right. Yeah, me too. I wish my mother could sing also. What are you gonna do, right? Exactly right.
All right, so just very quickly, can everybody hear me okay? Just want to make sure. Sounds good? Sounds good? Sounds good? Good, good, good. Got this thing. Louder? Trust me, you won't want it louder than this. At a certain point, it becomes hazardous to one's health. Huh? Well, then the neighbors start complaining. For too rowdy around here. Yeah, no, I know. I felt it. Tonight we can just lay it out. And anything like this tomorrow morning.
Maybe it was Marcus.
Lashana Tova, everyone.
Shana Tova.
You know how many years now I've been waiting to hear that response in this room? This is a magical feeling, a truly magical feeling. And as those of you that know me better, you know I'm somewhat of an emotional rabbi. This isn't going to be the last time you see me choking up in the next 10 days, I promise you that. But it is special. And it's special to be here with all of you. And of course, we welcome our friends who are watching from home. And I can say this actually from past experience, from around the world, even in some cases. That's what's so amazing about this little shul on the far end of the world that has found a way to create an impact far greater than its size. And why is that the case? Because of the heart, right? Because of what pumps through the blood of this place. And while we celebrate Shabbat throughout the year, while there's things going on all the time, there is something very special about this time of year. And it feels great to be back. So I say again to you, Lashana Tova. Okay, but I was going to say, when you say it, you can't say it flatly. You got to say it so that all the people watching at home can hear it. They don't always believe that there's other people in here because they can only see this. I'm going to say it one more time. I want you to put all your koach, all your spirit, all your energy into it. Lashana Tova.
Shana Tova.
See, we're off to a good start, that is for sure. So we're going to begin our service this evening on page 11. You should have a machzor in your seats. And we're going to read at the very top of the page. And as I do, I'm going to invite up Janet Grossman, who is going to light and bless our Shabbat and Yom Tov candles. And Janet, who most of you know as no longer a board member officially, but has been for so many years in so many ways, and has been, as I told people years ago, comes to polish the silver every year, that act of grace, that act of humility that nobody sees. That's Janet. So we'll read together before we light the candles on page 11. The first mitzvah in the Torah is let there be light. And so we are commanded in everything you do, be a menorah, a bringer of light. Live with honor, act with integrity, do your work with passion, and the radiance of your deeds will live after you. May our ideals burn bright, forever unextinguished, and may we live our lives like the flames we kindle, always stretching upward, striving for the good, reaching for you. And a reminder that throughout the holiday, beginning tonight into tomorrow, is also Shabbat. So any place where you see things in blue, this is that time of year where we actually will include those as well. So Janet will both bless Shabbat candles and our Yom Tov candles as well, assuming we can get the candles lit.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat v'yam tov.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Janet, very much. And we're going to join together in the Shechianu on page 11, just toward the bottom of the page.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Read responsively, beginning on page 12 at the very top of the page. To everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven.
Season of the soul, time to rejoice, time to reflect, time to return.
a time to gather round the table with loved ones and friends, a time for song and silence, for prayer and confession to open the heart, a time to retreat to our sanctuaries within, a time to renew the life and spirit of our community.
This is the season of attentiveness, a time to notice what is unfolded and what is not, a time to regret, a time to forgive, a time to remember cherished dreams and high ideals erased by reality.
This is the season of hope, like mist rising at sunset, like dew descending at dawn. Our hopes beautify and nourish everything they touch. Our hopes make us partners in creation, pursuers of peace, people who aspire to a world of justice.
This is the season of awe. When our eyes behold it, may we feel blessed. May we turn toward each other, let us feel strength. When we seek the holy, may we find purpose. May we find courage. May we find love.
So what happens on Shabbat when it falls on Rosh Hashanah is that Kabbalat Shabbat, which you normally would expect we would begin our service with, doesn't really happen in its entirety. Normally we do actually just the final psalm, which does not appear in our Machzor, but Shalom Aleichem does. So the cantor and I are going to lead us all in Shalom Aleichem, welcoming in Shabbat as we prepare to welcome also a new year. So you can join us on page 14.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitkhem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Turn now to page 15, Tiku.
תקראו בחודש שופר, בכסל יום חגנו, כי חוק לישראל הוא, משפט לאלוהי יעקב, משפט לאלוהי יעקב.
Before Cantor Kevin leads us in the Hineni on page 17, we'll offer just a few moments of silent reflection on page 16.
הנני הענימים האס, נרעש ונפחד מפחד, יושב תהילות ישראל. בתהילה באתי לעמוד ולהתחנן לפניך על עמך ישראל אשר שלחוני, ואף על פי שניחדי והגון לכך, לכן נבקש ממך אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי רבקה ולאה, אדוני, אדוני, אל רחום וחנון, אלוהי ישראל. שדי היום ונורא, היינה מצליח דרכי, אשר אני הולך לעמוד ולבקש רחמים, ולבקש רחמים עלי ועל שולחי. ברוך אתה שומע תפילה.
We'll now turn to page 19. We'll rise in body or spirit as we mark the beginning of the new year. Elohei, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, yehi ratzon shenizke levirchotecha. Bishnat 5,784, Bishnat Ela Elohei Olam Barech Otanu, Ve'et Kol Beit Yisrael, B'chidush Yameinu, B'simcha v'shalom, B'nachama v'ometz lev, B'chilutz atzmaot v'ruach eitana, Yehi peri sefatenu mikubal v'ratzui milfanecha, B'fros Hashanah Chadasha la'ad moadim anachnu lach, Al matanat chachaim. Our God and God of our ancestors, may we know your blessings in this year 5,784. Eternal One, bless us and the whole house of Israel with renewed life, happiness and peace, comfort and courage, resilience and strength. May the words of our heart be acceptable to you in the new year that stretches before us. We are forever grateful for the gift of love. Page 20, Baruch Hu.
Et Adonai
Please be seated. We'll turn now to page 22. We'll read together in English at the very bottom of the page. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your great name fills the universe with majestic might. Your word creates twilight and dusk as your wisdom opens the gates of night. Your discernment separates the changing seasons and causes the passage of time. The stars arrayed across the sky reveal your design. You roll out the cycle of darkness and light, shaping day and night. You sweep away day and carry the world into nightfall, setting day apart from nighttime. You are God of all we can perceive and all that is beyond our perception. Living, eternal God, be our sovereign to the end of time.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה. אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Shemo,
Amariv Aravi.
Amen. We'll turn now to page 24. We'll read together in English in the middle of the page. Love beyond all space and time. Your love enfolds your people, Yisrael. We receive it in your teaching, your gift of Torah, sacred obligations, discipline, and law. So let us speak these teachings when you lie down and rise up, and find joy forever in your Torah and mitzvot. They are the very essence of our life, ours to ponder and study all our days. May we never lose or be unworthy of your love.
Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu Uvahem nege yomam valayla, yomam valayla. Ve'ahvatecha al tasir mimenu leolamim. Baruch atah Adonai.
Baruch Shemo.
Ohev amo Yisrael.
Please join us on page 28. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam V'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'shochbecha u'kumecha u'kshartam leot ayadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam ha'mezuzot beitecha u'v'hisharecha. We're now on page 30. Leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzotai V'yitem kedoshim l'Elohechem, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem l'Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem Emet. We'll turn now to page 34, and we will read together in English at the very top of the page. Witness to this heroic might, the people thanked and praised God by name, freely accepting the reign of heaven. Then Moses and Miriam and all Israel sang to you this song of utter joy.
ובניך, בוקי הים לפני משה ומרים, זה לי אנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני
Baruch Shemo.
גאל ישראל.
Amen. We'll turn now to page 36, Hashkivenu, at the very top of the page.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha ותקננו בעצה טובה מלפניך והושיענו למען שמך ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני
Baruch Shemo.
הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
Turn now to the Chatzi Kaddish on page 40, and I'll invite us to rise in body or spirit, again, page 40.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
ועלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון ובימיכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל בגאולה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולימי הלמעיין יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה ולעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירן בעלמא ויאמרו אמן.
In a moment, we'll begin the Amidah together on page 42, and as always, from that point, we'll continue silently. Just a reminder that because it is Shabbat, there will be a few sections where things appear in blue. We include those on Shabbat. And as always, as I said, we'll begin together. We'll continue silently from there. And if you're still standing at the end, you may be seated, but please do go at your own pace. And page 42 will begin together.
Adonai Yosei shalom b'rama, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen.
Where we offer our Mishaberach this evening, let's turn to page 72, and we'll read together in English, again, page 72. May the Eternal One, who blesses all life, bless and strengthen all of us who struggle against illness. May we, whose lives are touched by illness, be blessed with faith, courage, love, and caring. May we experience the support and sustenance of family, friends, companions, and community. May we be granted restful nights and days of comfort. We pray for refuah shlema, precious moments of healing, and a sense of wholeness in body and soul. May those who care for the sick, with their hands, their voices, and their hearts, be blessed with courage and stamina. May those who pursue healing through medical skill and knowledge be blessed with insight, patience, and compassion. May all of us, the sick and the well together, find courage and hope. Amen.
Amen.
Now we have to jump a little bit further in our prayer books to page 245, as we'll join together with Cantor Kevin in reciting our Mishaberach, our healing prayer for all those in need.
Mishaberach avoteinu mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Now I invite the congregation to rise in body or spirit as we welcome Andrea Fagan up to the bima to open the ark for Avinu Malkeinu. Again, we rise in body or spirit. We'll begin by reading together on page 74. Avinu Malkeinu, strong was the faith of generations before us. In exile they proclaimed enduring hope. In the shadow of persecution they affirmed a transcendent love and compassion. Ours is a different age, less confident and certain, more tentative in its trust. There are many who say to the works of their hands, you are our gods. But when our worship centers on our own creations, we feel less gratitude, more doubt, and despair. This is the paradox of our spiritual lives. We grow smaller in self-exaltation, nobler when we reach for you. On this night of return, let us find the humility to come close to you and open ourselves to your presence, for you are absent only when we fail to make room for you in our hearts, distant only when we turn away from you. Now, as others have done before us, let us overcome doubt and speak these words of affirmation. We call you Avinu, as loving parent. Forgive our wrongs and failings. Accept us in our human frailty. We call you Malkeinu. As sovereign of our souls, help us rise from our brokenness to build a world of shalom. To this vision, we offer ourselves anew. We turn to page 77.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Koleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu Lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Chamol Aleinu, Ve'al Ol Aleinu, V'tapeinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Kalei Dever, V'cherev V'rav, Me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Kalei Kol Tzar, U'mastin, Me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Kotveinu, B'Sefer Chaim Tovim. Avinu Malkeinu, Chadesh Aleinu, Chadesh Aleinu, Shana Tova. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu Laneinu, Ki en banu masim, Aseh imanu, Tzedaka v'chesed, Aseh imanu, Tzedaka v'chesed, Ve'hoshienu. Aseh imanu, Tzedaka v'chesed, Aseh imanu, Tzedaka v'chesed, Ve'hoshienu.
Please be seated. Gander, well-earned break for you. You can go relax. Don't get too relaxed, but a little relaxed is just fine. Lashana Tova to everyone. I think we're warming up. We're warming up. I feel good. So earlier this week, I had the privilege of Zooming with our Rabbi Emeritus, Rabbi Leon Morris. I know not everybody necessarily knows Rabbi Morris because it's now been some years since he was in this space, in this pulpit. But as those that do know him and those that know me, he is one of my great teachers. So talking to him, of course, on the Erev of Rosh Hashanah was a, nice thing for me. But it was one of the things he said to me at the beginning which struck me. He says, Dan, you look very relaxed, very calm. And so I thought about that for a second. I really, it caught me off guard, but I thought about it for a second, and he was right. Maybe a little too comfortable. You'll tell me afterwards whether that's the case. But part of that certainly is that this will be my 10th high holidays in this space, so to speak. It wasn't for applause, I appreciate that. Look, I'm going for 20 or 30, so we'll count that later. But really, I was not fishing, I assure you. what happens over 10 years certainly is, you learn a few things. Certainly as a rabbi coming right out of school, and I still can't believe that you guys hired me like that. Thank you, Neil. But, we hope that in 10 years' time that things will change within us, right? Things will change and we'll feel more comfortable in something that we've done multiple times. And I thought about that for a while, and I thought maybe that's the reason why, and it didn't quite hit. It actually was something a little bit deeper than that. After 10 years of being in a single community, single congregation, not going anywhere else, watching it through its best times, watching it through some of its most challenging times, being here in this beautiful space, being in host spaces, being outside, being in all sorts of places, for sure. But what happens over 10 years is it's not so much about where you are, but where you are with your people. And I think that over 10 years, right, I know some of you are newer faces, I'm just getting to know you, but many of you I've known have been with me through, as I said, the highs and lows. And in that time, you develop a certain kind of trust that can only be built in the kinds of relationships that I believe firmly exist in buildings just like ours. Maybe not as beautiful as ours, but just as ours. This thing that we call community, this thing that we really hold onto in our tradition, in our history, the thing that in the worst moments we could come back to and to hold ourselves together. And so 10 years on, I don't think it's so much about just being more comfortable or having done the same thing over and over again. I think it really is about a much deeper concept here. So the challenge of this, I think, as I've been thinking about in 10 years is, what has changed? What has changed in myself? What has changed together with us as a community? What's changed in the world? And something of a sadness hit me, which is not as much as I think I might have hoped. Right? The world itself has not healed in a way that I had hoped 10 years ago. And our Jewish community has not, quite frankly, healed in a way that I had hoped 10 years ago. And so what I did was I wanted to get a sense of where my mind was in those moments when I first stood up here to speak to all of you in a moment like this. So I went back to my first couple of sermons. Now, I'll just tell you, normally it's 7 years where a rabbi starts recycling their sermons, so you got 10 years out of it. Not bad. And let's just say I've advanced a little bit in my sermon giving, at least I hope. But my Rosh Hashanah sermon for first day was about a rabbi who I admire greatly, who out of the blue decided that he was no longer going to serve his community as he had served it, and was going to go off into the world and do other things, in particular to be able to focus himself 100% on the work of what we call tikkun olam, right? Sometimes referred to as social justice, but I think in our tradition really something that says, this idea of going out in the world and physically fixing what's wrong with it. And so, of course, as a young rabbi, this was both amazing and awe-inspiring and also quite challenging, because here I was coming to stand firmly right here, at least in my mind. Was he doing the right thing, getting out there into the world, and am I doing the wrong thing by standing here? That was the first thing that occurred to me then, and it still occurs to me now. The second thing was that what I said in that sermon, one of the things that I appreciated so much about what this person had done, was they had decided for themselves where their Judaism lies most powerfully, right? Where their passion lied, what motivated them to do the work that they were doing then, and what felt held back in the position they were in, that they had to go out there into the world. And they really, embraced this. And as a result of it, myself, just as a Jewish person, forget rabbi, I admired this idea, right? This idea that I think actually over the last 10 years I've seen manifest itself in so many different ways with so many of us, so many of you, right? When we find that one thing in Judaism that we just get, and it gets us, when those things click in and you see what results from that, is a remarkable, not just spiritual growth, but really a growth of whole self. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And as I said then 10 years ago, I'll say again tonight, right? That there may be some of us in the room who find our way in just a couple of times a year, just in these moments, right? We might have a few people in the room who find their way in through other means, meditation, through yoga, others through, again, the work of social action, social justice, others perhaps through study, others through coming to shul on Shabbat, Torah study, all of these things, every single one of them, beautiful and legitimate and deep and personal. Things that, for myself growing up, were really important, right? When I found the things in Judaism that just spoke to me on the deepest possible level, it animated my life, it changed me fundamentally. But what I started to feel as I thought about this 10 years that had passed, and I thought about this sort of gap between what I had hoped and envisioned and perhaps what I see in the reality of the world around us, and I'll say within myself, not just in the world around us, within myself, that I feel like I should have gotten further in 10 years, that we should have been able to get further in 10 years. And I started to think about this idea of sort of, what I said in that first sermon, right? This idea that it's okay, pick your one lane and stay in that lane and do that thing with all your passion. The challenge of that reality, though, and I see it actually happening more and more, even within myself, is when we get something of a myopic view of Judaism, when we start to narrow the scope so that all we're really seeing is the thing that we like, right? Or even the thing that we love. And we dive right into it with everything that we have, and that's, again, a beautiful thing. But I think we all know, think of any other thing in life in which you would describe this as a good thing, right? Not a single one of us would apply this kind of logic to any other part of our life. Now, it's not to say, again, what I said earlier, right? If your way in is meditation and yoga and it's not so much the rabbi's sermon, that is great. Don't think that I am fishing for something different. I'm not. But I'm going to suggest to us, and I think this is the time of year to really begin this kind of conversation, that we can't stop with just what we like, or even just what we feel that we need. That Judaism historically, as a religion, as a culture, as a people, as a civilization, would not exist today, I believe this firmly, if that was our mindset from day one. If our mindset was everybody in the town, everybody in the village, everyone in the shul, find your thing and go do it, but don't worry about anybody else or how this intersects with anybody else, I don't think we'd be standing here today. As I said to you before, one of the things I appreciate the most about staying in one place for the last 10 years, 9 years, is that I have seen again how important it is to open up the eyes, right? To open up the heart, to see other experiences, to push myself to learn things that I otherwise might not have wanted to learn or even knew existed, to push myself to show up in moments that are inconvenient, to show up in moments that actually challenge us because we're faced with actually two wonderful things in front of us, and how do we pick? This is not a conversation that can come from judgment or come from a place in which we wave our fingers at each other and say, do this or do that. It's not that. But I think we can ask ourselves, especially during this time of year, to dig that little bit deeper. To ask ourselves, if we feel limited to one particular view of Judaism, why is that? Where is the limitation? Where is the block? If it's me, you tell me, and we're going to work on it together. But my guess is that for most of you, it's not that. It's somewhere along our lives we convince ourselves that we reach either a certain point in our life or a certain age and that we don't grow anymore, that we can't go into the uncomfortable places, that we can't push ourselves to take on one more thing or another. And that I think in the end, communities like ours, they don't just survive, they thrive when the intersections begin to show themselves, right? When we start to see different faces, when we start to talk to different people, when we start to study different texts, when we start to push ourselves again, when we have a choice between one great thing and another, doesn't mean every time, right? But if even once over the next year you decide, you know what, I could be going to see a great movie. I could go to see this great play. I could go to see this, ball game. Don't go to see a Giants game. That's not worth your time, right? And say to yourself, you know what, this is the only time this year, right? And there's something going on in my Jewish life, my Jewish calendar, my Jewish community, right? I'm going to make the choice to be there in that moment. Not like that's going to solve all of the problems. It's not even a problem to solve. It's a door to unlock, right? It's something in front of each and every one of us in different ways. But every one of us, I think, has more than just this view, right? That I think actually we can see much more broadly than that. So I'm going to ask you, again, not the last time you're going to hear from me over the next 10 days, most likely. Let's keep our eyes open. Let's keep our hearts open. Let's keep pushing ourselves a little bit more to look beyond just, again, what may feel immediately good to us. And let's ask ourselves again that question, what do we need to do to get beyond that initial hurdle? What do we need to do to build beyond just, again, what we perceive to be our wants, our needs, the things that feel best to us? So I want to share just one small piece of text tonight again, I apologize that I often quote him at the exclusion of others, but aside from the fact that he was my father's teacher, he just happens to be a remarkable rabbi, Rabbi Heschel indeed. There is a wonderful book called The Wisdom of Heschel. It's a collection of just a few of his quotations from various books or things he said over the years. And he said the following. He said, human life consists of needs as a house consists of bricks. Yet, an accumulation of needs is no more a life than a head of bricks is a house. Life as a whole is related to a purpose, to an end. It is the distinction of man, of women, of humankind, to be concerned with ends, not only with needs. So what does he mean by this? It's a deep statement, right? And he uses the word needs here, not in the context of what I spoke about tonight, but I see the connection. You know, what we tend to do the most, what brings us the most joy, we perceive as the thing that we need, and we search after it, and we give ourselves just that, and we feed ourselves that over and over and over again. But as he says, right, need is not enough. There's something more than that, right? And that thing that's more than that is this word community, or this word kehillah, this sense of connectedness to each other. And if we can break ourselves out of that mold, of that singular view, of that sense that, you know, I'm only going to be this kind of Jew, right? If we can break that mold alone, okay, each and every one of you in your way is already a wonderful, beautiful Jewish person. Don't narrow yourself. Don't say that I'm just anything. Get that out of your vocabulary. Okay? Wear your Judaism proudly. Engage with your community deeply. Study our texts with rigor. And build a house, a life, a family, a community with the joy, the beauty, the depth of this thing that we call Judaism. I wish you all a Shana Tova, and may we grow together over the next 10 days.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol ha-shalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol ha-shalom. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. בספר חיים ברכה ושלום, ברכה ושלום ופרנסה טובה, ברכה ושלום ייכתב לפניך. אנחנו וכל עמך בית ישראל, לחיים טובים ולשלום. ברוך אתה אדוני עושה השלום.
We'll now rise in body or spirit as we turn to page 82 in our prayer books. Aleinu Leshabeach, again, page 82.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר ראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל העולם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
The light of life is a finite flame. Like our sacred candles, life is kindled. It burns, it glows, it is radiant with warmth and beauty, but soon it fades. Its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. Flames dance and our lives are full, but as night follows day, the candle of our life burns down and gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. Before we recite our mourner's Kaddish for this evening, we think first of those who passed in our community in recent months. Bert Bitterman, Morty Schwatzky, Beverly Deshevsky, Jerry Goldsmith, Dr. Sam Gould, Sandy Greenwald, Dorothy Klein, Sean Leibowitz, Marvin Schreier, Sandy Slip, Barbara Strasser, David Weinstein, and Yael Zerdar. We also mark the yard sites that occurred in our community in the last week for Dr. John Abdrakin, Rosa Pell, Esther Becker, Lender Bergman, Charles Cutler, Jean Deshevsky, Adele Eisenstadt, Roz Fisher, Jack Genser, Estelle Gould, Paul Gould, Beverly Grunwald, Haskell Hoffenberg, Samuel Katz, Stanley Kirshner, David Lieberman, Edward Moody, Joseph Rafe, Yetta Riskin, Joseph Scheinert, Sarah Schultz, Dorothy Sazitsky, Forrest Stitchman, Lottie Weiss, Rita Weitzman, and Lynn Wolkenbach. In addition to the names that we just read, if anyone else is here saying Kaddish for anyone we did not mention, you are welcome to say their names out loud right now. And of course, we invite those watching at home to add the names of their loved ones as well. I'll invite the mourners to join with me on page 90. And a reminder, during the holidays, we add the second Ula Elah. You'll see it in a little bit different colored text on page 90. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon u'b'yom echon u'b'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael Agala u'bizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabba mevarach la'alam u'li'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal Shemei d'kudsha b'richu. Le'ela u'le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei Shalama Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav u'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May the source of peace bestow peace on all who mourn, and may we be a source of comfort to all who are bereaved. And together we sing. Please be seated. Chad Sha'alti on page 92.
Achat sha'alti me'et Adonai ota avakesh. Achat sha'alti me'et Adonai ota avakesh. Shivti bevet Adonai kol yemei chayai, לחזות בנועם בנועם אדוני, ולבקר בהיכלו. לחזות בנועם בנועם אדוני, ולבקר בהיכלו.
It's now my honor, my privilege to welcome my friend, your friend, one of the co-presidents of our temple, Ron Klausner, who will share some words of wisdom with us. Ron, thank you for all that you do, and thank you for all that you are. Make sure everybody can hear you okay.
Okay.
Shabbat Shalom. Shana Tova. In case you don't know me, my name's Ron Klausner, and I share the co-presidency of Temple Adas Israel with my friend and colleague Alan Levitt. I'm here with both good news and bad news. First, the good news. We just had an incredible year at Temple Adas Israel. Let me run quickly down some of our accomplishments, which I also highlighted at our annual meeting last month. On May 5th, we marched the Torahs from Whalers Church back to Temple Adas Israel. On July 9th, we opened our educational center with a rededication ceremony and a cocktail party. We memorialized our renovation and opening ceremonies with photographs by our congregant Riverland Zweig. September a year ago, Shelley Lichtenstein became our first ever executive director, in addition to her role as principal of the Hebrew School. Eileen Moskowitz retired at the end of 2022 after 13 years of loyal, dedicated service as our office administrator. We hired Gail Bruzowitz as our office manager. We hired Lauren Tepper to do social media PR to better engage and inform us on Facebook and Instagram. We procured and instituted a new database program called ShulCloud. Already we have seen better record keeping and communication with congregants. We held services in person and by live stream, and from now on, every service will always be hybrid, so those unable to be physically present will be able to attend. We celebrated Jewish holidays together in person at Whalers Church. Since May, we have been back home for good. We held Hebrew school in person and online. This week, we held classes for the first time in our beautiful new facility with our beautiful brand new furniture. Furniture is important. We've had an active, revitalized Hebrew School PTA. We have already held a dozen B'nai Mitzvahs since May in our new sanctuary. We have an energized teen-led youth group. Rabbi Dan led a monthly post-B'nai Mitzvah class. In addition, our beloved rabbi led Torah study and adult ed classes, engaged with congregants weekly for coffee, as well as performed his other pastoral duties. Toby Spitz, the chair of our programming committee, put together lectures, visits to museums and cultural sites locally and around the world, the wonders of the internet. She curated movies and organized specialty dinners. We offered a challah making program spotlighting expert local challah makers. We had our annual summer Havdalah sale around Sag Harbor. We instituted a new science and religion series thanks to Steve and Celia Rosen, who not only organized it, but secured a $5,000 grant. Thanks to our congregant Ari Weller, we had a series about restoring our bodies, which he calls Philosophit. Myra Peskowitz led Hillel and Musar classes. Ann Chwatsky curated the opening of our art gallery. Cantor Kevin and prior year Cantor Lauren put on a concert, blessing our hearts and ears with their voices. Rabbi Diana Fursko lectured about we need to talk about anti-Semitism. Potluck dinners have also been back thanks to Andrea Fagan. We also experienced something new in Shabbat by the Bay and Hamisha Havdalah, organized by Bonnie Ogleski and Beth Weitzman. Our beloved Lou Geffen led Holiday for Families. My 2-year-old grandson loved it. Our own congregant, Rabbi Alan Levin, who was recently ordained, led a very well-attended Pride Friday night service in June and an alternative Friday night service, I think a week or two ago. He's also now teaching a series of classes about the Jewish holidays. And let's not forget about the Shabbatons this past summer. Rabbis Mintz and Sharon Lieberman Mintz led one on Codex, Sassoon, and other matters. Rabbi Leon Morris returned with his family for the first time in 8 years. We celebrated the opening of the HUC Social Hall with President Rayfeld, followed by a wonderful grand dinner and Torah study the following day. Our women's Shabbaton this year was with Cantor Amanda Kleinman, a former student cantor of ours, who is now cantor of the Westchester Reformed Temple. We also held a special women's Seder this Passover. Our book group, led by Ruth Joseph, celebrated its 10th year. Ellen Ruby and Marilyn Zaretsky carried on the tradition by leading our monthly Rosh Chodesh group. Leah Oppenheimer continued to lead our monthly women's Torah study. Our Knit a Mitzvah committee, led by Andrea Fagan, continued on Mondays to knit items for those in need, both online and in person. Our Temple Anti-Semitism Committee, led by Julie Tatcontent and Lauren Tepper, ran programs educating ourselves and others about how to recognize and counter anti-Semitism. And we also became an ADL signature synagogue. Our Social Justice Committee, led by Alyssa Peak and Andrea Klausner, helped feed those in food crisis, support Maureen's Haven for the homeless, assemble school backpacks for needy students, gather and donate food to local food pantries, institute its first Temple Social Justice Award, and support the Road Forward Scholarship Committee, which provided scholarships for needy college students, both within and without the congregation. Finally, we brought a Ukrainian family to our community to help them escape the ravages of war. Thanks to our assistance, they were able to finally relocate in Topeka, Kansas, where reports indicate that they are thriving. Now for the bad news. No, there is no bad news. There is only good news. The good news is that you can help provide us with these and even better programs and services this coming year. It's amazing what we've done. I mean, I just went through 40 items, this little shul at the east end of Long Island, and all that we've done, it's amazing. Really, thank you, everybody. It's a time-honored tradition for me to reach out to you during the High Holy Days for financial assistance to help keep our temple operating. Our expenses are budgeted to be about $775,000 this coming year. Dues account for only 40% of the operating budget. We depend upon your generosity to make up the over $400,000 difference. The further good news is that no one of us has to shoulder this responsibility alone, as long as we all participate. I know we can do this. I know you want to do this, so let's do it. Please take the envelopes out of your prayer book. This is what they look like, and return them with a check enclosed. As an alternative, and for those who are streaming, you may simply click on the donate button, which is ubiquitous on our website. Finally, feel free to send us a pledge to fulfill before year end. I want to thank you in advance for your generosity, and I want to wish you and your family a good Shabbos and a healthy and happy New Year.
Applause, you know? Usually the appeal does not get applause. That is a good sign. It's fabulous. It's fabulous. And I promise you, the confluence of things tonight, we didn't know each other's sermons, and I think we're hitting on exactly the right notes. So just very quickly, a few announcements, a few important ones, and a few thank yous. Begin with thank yous, of course, to my partner in all of this, our student cantor, Kevin, who has done a remarkable job. We're not done with him yet. I feel like we should hold the applause for 10 days from now, but you can applaud him for sure. And of course, to Kirsten, who is back with us. This is her 22nd year, I believe, as we figured out, which here I am talking about 10 years like that's something. We'll talk about it in 22 years. That's phenomenal. I also want to really give great thanks to our head usher, Susie Miller, and all of our usher team and everybody who responded. Especially great to see some of our youngest people out there helping everybody to get into the building safely. So very much appreciated on that level. And still looking for ushers, though. I think still looking for help. So Susie's over there in the back. She'll be happy to help you out. I'll save the rest of the thank yous for as we get through the holidays. But certainly my thank you to all of you. And we don't stop tonight. We don't stop tonight. We begin again tomorrow, 10 o'clock. You can join us here at the temple. You can watch us online as well. Also a reminder that we have childcare from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock downstairs. Neil, you can go down there if you want, if you feel more comfortable. But please bring your young people. We love to see them. And if the main service is a little too much for them, we also have family services later on in the day as well. 3 o'clock here at the temple. Upstairs will be, generally speaking, 5th graders and younger, but we're pretty flexible. And the teens can meet up with Cantor Kevin downstairs as well. One other note is that we're watching the weather carefully for tomorrow in terms of Tashlich. Our plan is that as long as it's not raining and it's not dangerous, we're still going to go and do Tashlich tomorrow. So that will be at 4:15 at Havens Beach. But do keep your eye out for emails, announcements from me, etc. And of course, a reminder that there are 2 days of Rosh Hashanah. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. This is one of those holidays where it actually says there are 2 days of them. So you can come back on Sunday as well. We'll be happy to have you here. Howard will give you an aliyah maybe, and we'll be very happy for that. And of course, Yom Kippur is coming up in a few days as well. But we'll save Yom Kippur for later. We still got some work to do tomorrow. That is for sure. So last thing is just a reminder to everybody, leave the building safely as you came in. Also a reminder that we share this neighborhood with some wonderful neighbors who've put up with quite a lot from us in the last couple of years. So just a reminder again, as you're finding your way home, do so safely, certainly, and share, conversation. But if you can, be thoughtful about the community around us as well, because they really have been very understanding, very, very much so.
So we're going to turn now to page 78 as we introduce Kiddush for this evening. And page 78, and I'll invite you to rise in body or in spirit. This is one of those moments where you definitely need the Kiddush cup in hand. Lift this cup for the year that is gone, for mountaintop moments and the taste of joy. Celebrations shared, milestones met, all we've mastered and achieved since last we met. For wedding rings, tears, and kisses under the chuppah, new babies, first words, and first steps. For the children who bless our homes and bring life to our community. For B'nai Mitzvah and confirmands, young teachers of this holy congregation, ours to cherish and guide with love. For beloved wives and husbands, sisters and brothers, for loyal friends who grow more precious with each passing year. For this community, which nourishes us all. For all we've learned, for all we've struggled through, for challenges surmounted and disappointments met with courage. For last moments shared with those we loved and lost. For parents and grandparents whose memories are with us forever. We lift this cup for the year that is gone, for the year that begins. May we meet it in strength, in unity, in hope. We lift life's cup and celebrate survival so we may sanctify each day that is ours. Vayerev vayevoker yom hashishi, vayechulu hashamayim ba'aretz v'chol tzevam, vayechalu him yom hashvi'i melachto asher asa, vayishbot vayom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asa, vayevarech Elohim et yom hashvi'i vayakadesh oto, ki bo shavat mikol melachto asher bara Elohim lasot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'am v'romamanu mikol ha'shon v'kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'titen lanu Adonai Eloheinu b'yahava et yom ha'shabbat hazeh v'et yom ha'zikaron hazeh Yom Zikaron Trua Behava Mikra Kodesh Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim Ki Vanu Vacharta Ve'otanu Kidashta Mikol Hamim Udvarcha Emet Ve'kayam La'ad Baruch Atah Adonai Melech Al Kol Haaretz Mekadesh HaShabbat V'Yisrael Ve'yom HaZikaron Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher chayanu v'kiyamanu v'higihanu lazman hazeh. Amen. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Thank you very much. Okay, please be seated. We're now on page 98. And we will read. Let's read responsively. You guys read the part where it indents. I'll read everything else. A blessing for the new year, again, page 98. Our God and God of all generations before us, may it be your will in the coming year to grant us a year of abundance and atonement.
A year of blessings bestowed and received.
A year of community and compassion.
A year of delight and exaltation.
A year of enlightenment.
A year of friendship and forgiveness.
A year of going up in gladness to the land of Israel.
A year of health and healing and humor.
A year of inner strength and well-being.
A year of joy and Jewish celebration.
A year of knowledge and learning for its own sake.
A year of love between parents and children, friends and spouses, brothers and sisters.
A year of mitzvot and moments of sweetness.
A year of nature protected and enjoyed.
A year of optimism and hope.
A year of peace, pursue the perseverance.
A year of quiet and tranquility.
A year of rain in its season.
A year of song and spiritual growth.
A year of Torah study and tikkun olam.
A year of understanding and unity.
A year of all vows fulfilled and violence overcome.
A year of wisdom acquired and shared.
A year of coexistence among the families of the earth.
A year of young and old reaching out to one another.
A year of Zion, aglow with light for us and all the world.
Our God and God of the generations before us, grant us a year of gratitude to you for the most profound of blessings, your gift of life. Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu shetechadesh aleinu shana tova u'metuka Our God and God of our ancestors, eternal God of all generations, may your presence in our lives this new year renew our spirits and renew our strength. May it be a good year. May it be a sweet year. L'shana tova techa tevu v'techatemu. May you be inscribed and sealed for a good year. And we'll turn to page 95, Hashivenu, as we end our time together here. And again, see you tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Shana Tova, everyone. Get home safe. We'll see you tomorrow. Not so much.
Glad that worked so well. I didn't expect it to work so well, but I'm glad it did.